What's up guys, my name's Tom, welcome back to another video. Here back to my F1 2010 team, my team Curvo. Episode 25 is the third race in season 2. If you haven't watched the previous episode, the Bahrain Grand Prix, I highly recommend go check it out before you see this one. But we have a lot of things to do before we hit the track at Shanghai for the Chinese Grand Prix. And we have hopefully a lot of upgrades ready for this race. But before that, we're going just to buy some perks in order to improve our answers during the interviews. And unfortunately, we have 2 upgrades fail, and these 2 upgrades were major. Well, this is not starting well this season. One for the aerodynamic and another was supposed to be for the chassis, and this is very unfortunate because if these 2 major upgrades were ready, we definitely would be ahead of Renault in the performance chart. But anyway, we're going to fix those over the course of this weekend, you know, doing the practice session, gaining all those resource points, and now just filling the places, the slots when it comes to our task. But before hitting the track, we have a little invitational event at Kota. It is an overtake challenge. We're going to drive Kimi Raikkonen's 2007 winning Ferrari, championship winning Ferrari, and here we are. We are driving a very gloomy day at Kota, but I know that you guys want to hear this beautiful V8 sound, so I'm gonna let you guys hear it. Oh man, what a sound. This is vintage. Oh, there he is. Not really vintage because this is from the 21st century, but I think you guys understand. But yeah, what a sight. See the classic cars all mixed together. Basically what we need to do is overtaking these cars that are much weaker than this Ferrari. Okay, let's pretend that didn't happen. I didn't ruin my beautiful Ferrari. It's my Ferrari for just a few minutes, but around the outside we go off the 98 McLaren, pretty easy. And it was a pretty easy challenge. The last one was with the Renault at Russia, and I had to be a little bit in order to complete that one. But anyway, we're going to gain a nice amount of cash and 1k of acclaim. So everybody wins. I enjoy to drive these classic cars, and I get rewarded for that. So everybody wins. But here we are in China. You can see the famous tire of the second sector. This is F1 2020. I think this glitch is from 2016, I believe, or 2017, and we still have it in this game. It's absolutely outrageous. I never seen that tire up there when I was driving in my F1 career. I've seen in some videos, but watching with my own eyes in my game copy, you know. That was a first. But anyway, we're doing the practice session. Things have been swimming well for us. I'm feeling the upgrades. Despite having some failures, I still had a few bunch of upgrades for this race, so I definitely felt those ones on the car. But hopefully we're going to fix these ones, and hopefully, this is going to be for sure, obviously. We're going to, they are going to be ready for the next round, which is going to be at Sandal. But here we are already in qualifying Q1. We'll see if we can get out and see if we can get hopefully to the top 10 shootout. I don't know, it's going to be really hard, but let me tell you that the pace has been absolutely great, and hopefully we are into a very entertaining race, which is going to be in full wet conditions. I forgot to show you the weather map of this weekend, but it's going to be heavy rain and it's going to get drier, and maybe we're going to use the wets, the intermediates and the slicks, we'll see. But we're going to start this race on full wet, so the qualifying when it comes to strategy is not going to matter that much. But for the time being, we are in P15. We are in place of getting into the second phase of qualifying through the snail session, gaining a heap amount of time. The first run was kinda okay. In the first runs I don't like to push that much. I always like to first get a little bit of a feel of the car, because it's a very completely different car when it's off the race. It's much lighter, we have fresh new tires, and the engine is at its best potential. But at the moment we are gaining 0.2 of a second, and as we go through the fast and flowing second sector, and not many people like this track, but I really enjoy Shanghai. I think he's very underrated, and it receives too much hate. The tire is still there in qualifying. We'll see if it is in the race, but the tire getting a very privileged view of this qualifying session of the Chinese Grand Prix. We're losing a little bit of time on the S section as we brake very hard to this little happen. Now switch to the right, and you have to be really patient and push the throttle as early as you can, because you need a good straight line speed in this straight, the last DRS zone of the circuit. Still gaining 1/10 of a second, open the DRS, and now he's just wait for the braking zone, still accelerating 333 kilometers per hour, just a little bit before the 100 brake marker. Make sure to hit the apex as well. A little bit of a back-end loss, so that is going to definitely cost us a lot of time through the final corner. Make sure to use all the track available. Goodbye Pollard, that won't be lasting for long, that Pollard across the line, and he's going to be P15. So we are into the second phase of qualifying, so a very positive qualifying session for us. Unfortunately, our teammate Lando Norris was knocked out, and we out-qualified him by just 0.3 of a second. So finally, I'm starting to get a good feel of the car in these last two races. Australia was an absolute disaster, but finally I'm starting to match and even be better than my teammate, because Lando Norris is a very good teammate. He has a very good rating, so if I beat him, I'm very happy, because you know, it is a good reference. But first lap, it was okay. It was on an old set of soft tires. We're going to jump to a brand new set in the closing stages of qualifying, 1.3 seconds up, as we are still in last place. No surprise, we are doing with one set of softs through the final corner. Open the DRS, 1.5 seconds of improvement, and across the line, and unfortunately it's not going to be enough to get us through to the top 10 shootout. It is once again P15, and that is going to be our starting position for the Chinese Grand Prix. But in a nutshell, I think it is a pretty decent qualifying, considering where the car is at the moment. I would be happy to beat the Alpines, but this is what we can do at this track, it seems. But we're not going to give up. The race is going to have very different conditions, so hopefully we're going to take advantage of that. So without further ado, let's go to the race, the Chinese Grand Prix.
It's time to find out which driver is up to the task of claiming the Chinese Grand Prix. We're here in Shanghai. The ever-tightening turns 1 and 2 will prove tricky in the slippery conditions here at Shanghai, and anyone that slides wide will lose a lot of time getting back on track. Turn 14 should still be the best place for overtaking, but we'll have to see some improvement in the weather before the drivers can take advantage of that DRS assistance. Joining us today to oversee all the thrills and spills, it's Anthony Davidson. And great to see you. How are you feeling about the race today, and how are the circuit conditions from what you've seen?
Well, it's looking a bit cold out there, if I'm honest. These tyres have quite a narrow operating window in terms of the temperatures they need to extract the best grip. So with a cold track surface, it's going to be harder to keep those temperatures up, which will lead to lower grip and maybe more mistakes.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Verstappen, Vettel, Alexander Albon, and Ricciardo, Leclerc, Sainz, Stroll, and Pierre Gasly, Perez, Kvyat, Nobuharu Matsushita, and Ocon, Thomas, Magnussen, Kimi Raikkonen, and Antonio Giovinazzi, Norris, Russell, De Vries, and Nicholas Latifi. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Okay, let's see if we can keep the momentum up. Let's get another points finish.
Thanks a lot, Jeff, and welcome guys to a very sad day at Shanghai. Heavy rain conditions. You can see we're using the blue striped tires, and we'll see what we can do in this race. Make sure to smash like, subscribe, Chef Nudes, plenty more Formula 1 content. Really motivates me to make more. If you could that, I would be very thankful. But you can see that it's going to get drier and drier as the laps go by. We're going to definitely fit intermediates, because we're going to have a lot of light rain, and then the rain is going to stop. So maybe we're going to see the slicks over the course of these next 28 laps. 5 red lights for the Chinese Grand Prix, and it slides out, and away we go. Try to get a feel for the first time in these very rainy conditions, and it's been a good start already alongside the Alpine of Matsushita, getting a little bit brake check by the AlphaTauri as everyone is getting bunched up, but we're finding a little bit of a gap, and we're going down inside of many cars, and we are already up to the top 10 positions. And yes, we are in P9, so it's been a great start. We're side by side with the AlphaTauri and the Aston Martin, trying to go around the side, and this is very close. Martin stepping a little bit on the curb and losing a little bit the back end as we are going side by side with the Aston Martin of Lance Stroll, but we are outbraking, and we actually outbrake so much that we're going to send one down the inside of Carlos Sainz, and now it is vulnerable to the Aston Martin, and that says, I believe, we are up into P8 of this Chinese Grand Prix. So it's been a bonkers of a start. I know that my starts can be very good in my team career mode, and once again we did that, but this one was textbook. We managed to gain a lot of positions in the space of a sector, and now ahead of us we have the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc. Valtteri Bottas leads the way, followed by Hamilton, so I believe he's going to be a walk in the back for the Mercedes. And you can see that Matsushita is struggling maybe a little bit of pace, because ahead of him, behind him, it is Charles Leclerc getting a little bit close. I think he's starting to drop a little bit of time. So apologies, it wasn't Matsushita, it is Ricardo. I was seeing in the heads-up display. So already setting personal best, so already starting to feel a little bit more confident in these conditions. The AI is already behaving like if they did 50 laps. That's the AI that we have in this game, so I'm still getting used to these conditions, and actually I'm pretty happy, and that is going to cost us a little bit of time. But like I was saying, I'm still getting used to the conditions, and I was, as you can see, keeping up a little bit with Leclerc, and it seems that he's struggling to make the move on Matsushita, because no DRS in these conditions, so hopefully it's not going to be a boring race, as I'm trying to pull away off Stroll, because that Aston Martin is an absolutely bullet on the straight line thanks to that Mercedes power, so we need to be very careful. We're actually starting to form a little bit of a train. Behind Stroll is one of the McLaren, it is Carlos Sainz, and we skip all the way forward to the end of lap 8, and this time it seems to fit the intermediate tire. Jeff told me to stop on this lap, but I decided to stay out one more lap because I don't want to risk that much. We are in a very privileged position, we are on the points after that amazing lap 1, and I think track position at the moment is showing to be very key in this race, because we're not overtaking anyone, no one is overtaking us, so it seems that at the moment track position is very important, because it's very hard to make the moves around this track in very rainy conditions, it seems. But there is Sergio Perez fitting a set of intermediates as well for the Alpine behind. I think it was Matsushita, yes, because Ricardo, Leclerc and myself decided to stay out. Lando, I think, stopped on the same lap of this guy, so probably he's going to get maybe a little bit of an undercut. He's still behind all the last places of the grid, because his start wasn't the best. But here we are. We actually were setting personal bests in laps, so maybe I could stay one more lap in this set of wets, but I'm going to follow everyone. I don't want to risk that much, because like I was saying, track position means a lot at the moment in these early stages of the race, so I don't want to throw anything away. But here we go, fit a new set of intermediates, and we'll see if this is going to be the first and last one of this race, because it's scheduled to fit another one over the course of this race. But maybe I could stay out. We'll see how I'm going to behave in these next few laps. In this first stint, Charles Leclerc is struggling, as you can see, to get some grip and some temperature on those intermediates, and we overtook the Ferrari pretty easily. So Leclerc, like I was saying, maybe struggling a little bit to put temperature on the tires. I don't know, maybe the Ferrari is going to struggle a little bit with the intermediate tires, we'll see. But that was really weird to see Leclerc going very slow on the snail session, and now we find ourselves in P6. So yeah, this is being an absolute wonders at the moment, as Alexander Albon pits on the next lap, and just to see how much time that he lost. And now it is like 6 seconds behind Verstappen, so definitely now it is time for the intermediates. The rain is starting to ease down a little bit, and this is Sebastian Vettel in a very lofty P3, carrying that Ferrari to the final podium place, and Verstappen seems that he can't overtake that Ferrari, because it seems that no one is overtaking anyone, and this is very weird considering that this is a track for Shanghai. I think the main problem here is because we don't have DRS at the moment. We skip all the way forward to lap 19 because it's been an absolutely boring of a Grand Prix, and we're going to fit another set of intermediates. I thought maybe, and Verstappen is out of the race, Max Verstappen, so a big retirement. He was trying to chase down Vettel, but it seems that he's on the power, decided to give up, and this Chinese Grand Prix comes to an early end. Unfortunately, that is going to be any sort of safety car or virtual safety car that will really come in handy, because at the moment we are pitting for a brand new set of intermediates. But like I was saying, I was trying to think maybe I could nurse these tires till the end of the race, or till to the point that we could wear the slicks, but I decided to stay in the same strategy as these guys, because we could have the risk of getting a puncture. Remember what happened in season 1 at Brazil? We got a puncture in the last meters of the Grand Prix. We were really lucky to not be like in the beginning of the last lap, so I had still some flashbacks of that. So I decided, okay, I'm going to play it safe. We are in a very good position, and at the moment we are in in 5th place thanks to that to Verstappen's DNF, and you can see that we're improving our time, going purple on the first sector, so definitely the track is getting faster and faster, and we'll see if we're going to fit the slicks, and you can see that the rain is starting to ease down a little bit, so we are very strong in the first sector, it seems, going purple once again on lap 23. And I forgot to mention that we have a very good exit of this long right-hander, so that's the reason maybe Leclerc is not trying any moves, because we have an absolutely great, great run out of that corner, and there's no DRS, so I think that's the main problem at the moment. There's no DRS, and that's the reason that this race has been a little bit boring. But you can see rain is starting to ease down, and we skip once again all the way through to the end of lap 25, and we're going to set a brand new set of soft tires, and that is going to be our race. The DRS is enabled on this lap, so now maybe we can see some side-by-side action in these closing stages of the race, so anything is not guaranteed at the moment, but I'm expecting good points if things go well. So it's been a very good stop from the boys, a little bit slow in the final on the final stages of the stop, but nonetheless we actually pulled away a little bit of Leclerc, so I wonder if he got held up by all those cars, or they are all bunched up, so probably he lost a little bit of time. But this is Matsushita, you're going to see in a minute. There he is, Matsushita. He decided to do one more lap in this set of intermediates, so Alpine didn't make a good strategy call, and Matsushita is stuck behind and definitely is going to be out of the points at the end of this Grand Prix. You can see that now we are very close. We were like 8 seconds behind, and now we have some yellow flags, so maybe we're going to have another retirement. But you can see Matsushita is going to pit, and definitely is going to be out of the points, and we find ourselves in P15 with very precious 10 points, and Ricardo is out of the race, so he was on the points, and it's been an absolutely disaster for Alpine in this race. And you're going to see the replay, and this Renault engine decided to give up, and unfortunately it was on the points, and this Chinese Grand Prix came to an early end with just 2 or 3 laps to go, so that's very unfortunate for Ricardo. He should be pissed at the moment, and we're starting to push, and actually we're pulling away a little bit of Leclerc, so that is a little bit, that gives us a little bit of a comfort. And you're going to see that on the next lap I'm going to try to set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, because at the moment everyone is improving. I think Matsushita at the moment has the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, but now that has been taken away by Valtteri Bottas, and the action is starting now, because Sergio Perez is being overtaken by Daniel Kvyat in the AlphaTauri. Look at the power of that Honda engine. The Honda engine actually is pretty powerful in my team career mode, and the race, that was pretty much it. It was in general a very boring race, and Valtteri Bottas is going to take another win to his tally, and he's going to extend his championship lead over Lewis Hamilton. And there he is, another win for the Finn at the Chinese Grand Prix. It's been a good day for Mercedes. Once again, another 1-2 for us. I tried to set the fast lap, going purple once again on the first sector, but I couldn't do anything. I tried everything, but the fastest lap goes for the Finn as we are on our last lap. Leclerc still trying a little bit, because at the moment I'm trying to save a little bit of fuel and ERS, because I wasted everything in my fastest lap attempt. But thankfully we're going to hold this 5th position, and it's going to be 10 precious points for our championship and constructor standings. So it's been a very positive day. That lap 1 was absolutely incredible.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Ferme.
It's victory in Shanghai then, and what a victory it is after an incredible Grand Prix. So Anthony, what made the difference out there today?
I think that smart tyre management on track and very smooth driving definitely assisted in their victory today. That combination meant they got the absolute maximum out of their tyres at all times.
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners today.
And there you go, we scored 10 precious points at the end of this race. Actually, Hamilton got the fastest lap, so he's not 26 points for Bottas. But yeah, it's been a very positive day. Lando Norris still gained some places, but it wasn't enough to get some points. But it's very hard to overtake. I think I was lucky to get all those places on lap 1, but still I had to be highly skilled, you know, to hold all those positions, especially in the drying conditions. But we got some places on the driver standings. 6th place on the Constructors' Championship behind Alfa AlphaTauri and Aston Martin, and it's been a very positive race for us, gaining a lot on Daniel Ricciardo in the rivalry. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me because he had that engine failure. It was very unfortunate, but yeah, a little bit disappointed with this race, I'm not gonna lie. It was a very boring one, so let's expect definitely a much better one for the next round, which is going to be at Zandvoort. So guys, that has been episode 25 of my F1 2020 Mighty in Career Mode. I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. If you did, make sure to smash like, subscribe if you see plenty more Formula 1 content. Really motivates me to make more. All the support that you guys give is much welcome to my channel, and I really want to thank you guys for the support that you guys give on the channel. Really appreciate that, and I'll see you guys for a brand new video next time. But for now, it's goodbye. Take care.